I'm Mark Friend.
And I'm Stef.
And welcome to Mostly Playing, a podcast about video games and stuff.
So hello and welcome to Mostly Playing, our new podcast. For those of you who may know us, me and my friend Mark here.
Hello.
There you go. I'm gonna hog the mic for a minute. We used to run a few podcasts in the past. So we started originally about 3 or 4 years ago with a friend of ours called Simon, and we found that we were very sort of unfocused. It was a conversation really between three friends, which was very nice. And then me and Mark started Nerd Runners, which is where you may well have heard of us from, which was a semi-popular podcast dedicated to the card game Netrunner. And while we had a lot of fun with that, we figured that it was too narrow, and after asking our audience, we got a lot of feedback saying you'd like us to talk about some more interesting and diverse stuff. So here we are with Mostly Playing, a podcast about games and stuff, because we're both pretty big nerds, but we didn't just want to limit ourselves to video games because that's how we got ourselves into kind of a funk with Nerd Runners, I think.
Yeah, I think funk is probably the best way to describe it. Like, we really enjoyed Netrunner for however many years we played it. But we just found it was just, there was other stuff we wanted to do and other stuff we wanted to talk about. So calling it Mostly Playing, super clever name, means we can talk about games and everything else. So yeah.
Think about it, it's all the stuff you would do in your spare time. So we'll be talking about movies and TV and games, music potentially. I might have a bit about sport when, rugby's good.
Yeah, cooking. You like cooking?
Cooking, yeah. That's weird that playing for me includes cooking, isn't it, really? There's going to be a big section on RPGs at some point because I'm that nerd. So
I want you to bring your dungeon masterness into the fold.
It's all I can rely on when I do these podcasts. is my innate dungeon mastering skills. But yeah, for those of you who are new, welcome. Thank you for choosing us to listen to. Hopefully you'll enjoy it.
Okay, so I guess since this is the first time some people may be listening to us,
inaugural,
probably most people will be listening, the inaugural, I guess we should probably introduce ourselves a little bit. So I'm Mark. I'm a user researcher for PlayStation. So basically what I do day to day is I work on pretty much all the European first-party Sony titles that they get to make, and have a look at kind of basically trying to make them better, really, is the simplest way to say that, I guess. So we're kind of looking at, do people understand what to do, where to go, how difficult is the game, is it confusing, does it match what the designers intend, obviously working quite closely with the European teams and stuff like that. So yeah, get to spend my days working on video games, living the dream.
Yeah, I am immensely jealous. I'm Stef. I am a scientist by trade. I've got around 7 or 8 years under my belt working in the pharmaceutical industry, but in my spare time I pretty much just play games and write a lot. I do podcast recording with Mark. It's obviously been a big part of my life actually for the last few years.
Yeah, I mean, this would be our fourth podcast since 2013, or fourth podcast series we've done, something like that.
Oh yeah, we did do the very brief series of expansion pack.
Expansion pack, yeah.
Is this an expansion pack to expansion pack? Is this what?
I think it might be.
Oh,
yeah.
God.
We're getting very meta now, aren't we?
This is paid DLC that's on the disc. But yeah,
that's called Capcom style.
Ooh, topical. It's not topical. I don't even know anymore. But no, I've always been fascinated with games, and not just video games, but board games. Oh, RPGs are a big passion of mine as well. Among other things, yeah. So I guess the best way to start this podcast, I suppose, would be with Mark, have you been playing something?
What have I been playing? What did I do? I've just started XCOM 2, actually. Now it's finally on PS4. I was very close to buying it on PC.
Which is what I did.
And may well still do at some point, because I own the original XCOM Enemy Unknown and Enemy Within on nearly every format anyway. So I was like, why not have XCOM 2 on everything? I know actually tablet is one of the few things I don't have XCOM on. I have it on my I had it on my Xbox, got it on my PlayStation, got it on my PC. I've got it on my Vita because it's becoming the new Tetris for me, where I pretty much buy Tetris on everything because Tetris is amazing and possibly my favorite game, and one of 2 video game tattoos I would potentially ever get in my life. The other one being the Triforce on my left hand.
It's any particular reason?
What? I get Legend of Zelda is another one of those kind of...
No, Tetris. I mean,
oh, Tetris.
Legend of Zelda. I know where that comes from.
Yeah.
I just like, what would you get, like tattoo-wise? What would you get with Tetris? Would you just get a block?
Yeah, well, I'd get I basically I'd not decided if it's left or right arm, but it'd be kind of like a sleeve up from like a wrist to elbow of just the Tetris blocks filled up, except for one kind of line all the way down, kind of like the middle, and like the 4 long blue block slowly falling down in that section to get Tetris.
That is going to cause you an inordinate amount of pain.
I know, it's so intricate and all colours. I don't know why I'd like that tattoo, but I know I never follow through with it, and then immediately regret it if I did. But back to XCOM. I've just started XCOM 2. It's really good and hard. It's amazing how not playing XCOM for a while leaves you so terrible at XCOM, and I'm just making stupid decisions, and I'm only about 3 or 4 missions. I think I'm at the first mission where you have to save some civilians while they're getting just destroyed by sectoids.
Yeah.
I think I forgot that I wasn't playing Iron Man, so I'm kind of save scumming this a little bit. It went really badly for me, and I lost a bunch of people. And then one of my my heavy machine gunners got mind controlled, and then I was just like, no, this mission has gone really badly for me. So I kind of quit that one.
We'll pretend that this is just a dream sequence.
Yeah.
Something. No, I adored XCOM 2 simply because it changed the formula so greatly.
Yeah. And
that focus on guerrilla warfare, which was a grand twist to... Because the trouble is with XCOM, I played Enemy Unknown and then I played Enemy Within. How it works?
Yeah.
Yeah. And they're great games, don't get me wrong, but like by the end of having bought it twice, essentially, I was kind of like, well, you know, I know what XCOM is, and the fact that now you have to move around, you can't just stay in one place, you have to move to get bonuses, you have to... it's that always mobile way of doing it, and it took me a while to realise, especially with some missions, and I think it's a piece of advice I gave you the other night, which is, if something's going south, just run. Like, it doesn't matter, you aren't going to win, just book it. Get to the extraction zone. If the civilians looks like they're dead, they're probably dead.
Yeah.
It's better to save your team and lose like a little bit of faith than it is to, you know, lose the entire mission and your entire team.
Yeah, I mean, even the concealment, the fact that you start kind of unknown to the aliens is a huge thing as well.
Oh yeah,
because that's always annoyed me in games where it's just kind of like, I call it player one syndrome, just like the enemy just knows to attack you straight away, they know where you are and they're just coming for you regardless of anything else that might be happening in the game. But the fact you just start off and you can kind of set your guys up and kind of set up the perfect ambush, and then you kind of shoot a dude and they kind of turn around, and then just like your other 3 guys on Overwatch just kind of come in and start shooting everyone else who starts moving around, and you just kind of take out a bunch of guys really quickly. The only downside is I kind of wish, I don't know if this is something that happens later, but I kind of wish that if you were able to kind of silently take out a group of the aliens, that you'd kind of remain concealed for a little while longer. If you could kind of do that perfect kind of almost Splinter Cell kind of style, or clear a room, but you know, I'm still a ghost kind of thing. Yeah,
I mean, if that was an option, I never found it. But one of my favourite things to do was like I leveled up, because I named all my characters after my friends. So our good friend Tom, he was a hacker, he is,
of course,
in every game I play. And like leveling him up to the point where everyone get into an overwatch position on a bridge, and he just send his little drone dude down to turn all the turrets to fight the enemies. And it's like, right, kill everyone. It doesn't matter. Just gun an entire street down. And then you were wandering around with this massive cleaver, just running like, ha!
I finally snapped.
Yeah, just snapped, cutting snake people in half. New enemy types I think were great as well. Just that changed. It makes you. That's what I like about XCOM 2. It made you think about space as a puzzle, as opposed to something you had to move, stop, Overwatch, move, stop, Overwatch, move, stop, Overwatch. It was sort of like If I get them up here, it means I have sight lines over here, which means I can see. They might not be able to see me, which means I can find more things. So if I don't round a corner, I'm not just going to walk into an enemy awareness zone, which can royally fuck you if you just round a corner and there are like 4 dudes there. And you're like, oh my god, I accidentally clicked on the red square. Why have I done this? It's the equivalent of just like you turning around like, oh, I'm sorry, oh.
So yeah, I'm maybe about like 3 or 4 missions in at the moment, but yeah, really enjoying it so far, and I can see this is going to take up a lot of my time to the point where I this afternoon downloaded all the DLC for it because I was like, yeah, I'm going to be playing a lot of this in the next few weeks. But yeah, I'm hoping I'll kind of get into the swing of it a bit more because at the moment it feels kind of a bit of a slog right now. But I think again that's maybe kind of very thematic because you are the guerrillas, you are kind of fighting from the shadows. But I don't know, it doesn't feel quite as breezy as I remember XCOM being, but I guess maybe it was never as breezy and it's I'm just kind of misremembering it in a way, but it feels like a lot of enemies now. I think the problem I have is that I remember sectoids as being these little pushovers and they're not anymore. And they have like
no, now
2.5 times more health than they used to, and they panic my people, they disorientate my people. I mean, I know they were a bit kind of mind controlling before, but now it's just fucking pissed me off.
Mean.
They got very mean.
Oh hey, you remember those things that you just managed to dick on, and the only thing we did really in the later game was give them more health. Well, enjoy this.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to playing some more of that, and it just I think what I'll do at some point is I'll record like an Iron Man playthrough for it. So, but because it's been a long time since I've done Iron Man in XCOM, but I think I kind of want to complete the game first, just to make sure that I can, actually play it. Yeah.
I'd like to do that. I'd like to be there and watch you fail in the 3rd mission. Everyone's dead.
I did. My first 2 missions, I lost a person each time.
Yeah,
and I kind of felt like the heartbreak because the first mission that I outside of the training, and I lost someone because I completely forgot that after a certain number of turns, things on fire explode. So I had one of my troops taking cover behind a car.
Cowering is the right word.
Yeah, I think probably in this instance. They were behind the car. The car was on fire. And they'd been there a turn. The car had been on fire 3 turns, and then it exploded before they could. Because there was literally just a one stop over by the car until they could move to better cover on the next turn. But yeah, they died. And then the next mission, I had someone. How did they were replaced by Claudia Van Damme, which was just I wanted to keep them alive
Van Damme.
purely for the name because I thought that was amazing.
Nice.
My first rookie gets replaced by Van Damme. I'm like, Van Damme has to survive, but unfortunately they were the only one to perish in the second mission. I got into a very bad. My problem there was I misunderstood the objective, so that I had to secure one of like these data link things. But I thought I had to kind of go over and do something to it because that's what I had to do in the previous mission. I had to kind of go and hack something. But I hadn't realised you just kind of have to make sure it just survives and no one blows it up. So I kind of had split up my troops and one of them had gone over to the data area and then the other 2 were kind of a bit ambushed. Well, my sniper did really well from a bridge far away. Kind of a little bit ambushed. Reinforcements dropped in to... Because they were in cover from where the original enemy troops were, but then the reinforcements came in from the side and like just had flanked me straight away. So I was like, "Oh fuck!" So yeah, that didn't go well for Van Damme, unfortunately.
Oh dear.
Yeah, but it's such a good game, and I'm going to sink so much time into it. There's going to be probably many XCOM 2 stories from here on out, but I'm kind of glad that I waited for it to be on PS4, but. Equally, I can imagine I'll probably just end up getting it on PC at some point anyway, just so that just because I can, and Steam will probably have it on sale before too long, and then when it's inevitably released on everything else, I'll be like, "Ooh, I'll buy XCOM 2 for that, so I can play it again." But no, it's such a good game. How about you? What have you been playing?
Oh well, so you may or may not know I'm a recovering World of Warcraft aholic. I was there when the game first came out. I was one of the original players. I had the same 4 character name from the very beginning as a druid. And So yeah, recently some friends of mine, they was like, oh well, we really want to get into World of Warcraft. I was like, guys, please, don't get me back into it. It's like, oh no, but you can really help us out. It's like if you play with me, I said, we're gonna have to do this together, and you can't just leave me on my own. So guess what happened? So what I've been doing is playing Legion, the new World of Warcraft expansion, mainly on my own, which is. I always find it very funny. Like I always have a lot of fun playing massively multiplayer games just on my own. I don't know why. I used to be part of guilds and all that jazz, but really now kind of wandering around as a max level legacy gear kind of thing. It's kind of I've got really good gear. It's been a nice kind of nice little break back into Azeroth really. So it's possibly I would say this is one of the best expansions World of Warcraft has ever had with Legion.
So what does Legion do new then? Because I dipped into World of Warcraft a little bit, but kind of never made it out of the starting area.
So I mean, I'm trying to think. It's hard to separate out what's changed from vanilla because I started playing vanilla when it was like all just new systems, and Cataclysm came and changed the entire world. Legion has a new area for level 100 to 110. You get class holds, which is where it's a special area dedicated to your particular class. So I'm a druid, so I have this cool. It's pretty awesome actually. So oh my god, this is going to be me nerding out for a while. So the Emerald Dream links all the places on Azeroth, and you get to jump into this place which has portals, different places in Azeroth, different places in the world, which means you can bounce between them, and also the class hold, which is just a nice area where druids go to hang out, and you have new quests.
Like druid summer camp.
Yeah, it's like druid carbo. Like it's Kopaka druid.
Druid martinis and druid margaritas, and you're kind of chilling.
The quests are actually less now about gathering like 6 wolf buttholes or something like that. It's all
my favourite quest.
It's a lot of it is like kill X number of things, and the drop rate on things is much improved compared to Warlords of Draenor, which was the last expansion, which introduced sort of followers and missions you could send them on so to get more items and things like that. The coolest thing that they've done is artifact weapons. So throughout World of Warcraft's history, there have been several artifacts that have come forward, sort of like Lightbringer. Yeah, Lightbringer is one of them. And these weapons you can now get and level them up alongside your character. So you always have like a brilliant weapon. Because at level 100, you tend to have gear that kind of hangs around. It doesn't change much. You're unlikely to get stuff once you've maxed stuff out that is any better. So say you go and do raiding or dungeons, you're going to get decent gear from that, and it's unlikely that anything you pick up in the world is going to be better. Okay. One of the cool things they've done is with these weapons, you go on a quest to get your artifact, which gives you a bit of story about them. So I've got 2 daggers, which are like the claws of... I can't remember the name off the top of my head. But they level up and do more damage when my druid's in cat form, and it gives me bonuses, which is quite nice. The story's actually pretty good as well, because the Burning Legion are back, which is a big thing that hasn't really been around since the Burning Crusade expansion, really. I mean, they're always around. It's kind of a weird... Like, look, I mean, I could talk for hours about World of Warcraft, I really could, because I've played it for so long. And I do the thing that I usually do when I'm on massively multiplayer games is go into a role-playing server, because one, the people tend to be a bit nicer, and I found that it'd be more helpful. 2, I can't really stand PvP because, I can't stand it because it just reminds me of original WoW, where you just have a rogue just sitting on your corpse waiting for you to respawn and then stabbing you again. It's like, there's no point in killing me. There's literally no point. It's all about griefing at that point. And the crowd I find on role-playing servers tends to be a bit older, so they tend to have, less time because they've got either families or friends and other things they've got to do.
Yeah.
And, they're more than happy to spend... If they're more understanding if you have to leave in the middle of a dungeon or if you have to do X, Y, Z. Because you're a grown-up and you've got shit to do.
So do you think it's... you keep playing. You think it's I mean, compared to like the other expansions, you think this is one of the good ones?
You see, the thing is, like, I complain a lot about World of Warcraft, but I've played every expansion. I will keep going back to it because it's a game that I know well. It's so like, imagine if one of the things we've been doing recently, The Witcher 3.
Yeah.
So we both spend a lot of time in that world. Both love it. But imagine if like every year, 2 years, 3 years, they're just like, hey, here's like another 30 hours of stuff just go nuts. And it just expands the world and gives you more stuff and more story and more. The characters get better looking, like the cutscenes get better. There's more drive behind it.
Yeah.
And you actually start to feel like your character's a hero, which is, compared to most games most MMOs where you start off like, oh hey, I'm the hero, and that guy's 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 the hero.
That's what really bugged me about Destiny when the in vanilla Destiny, where it'd be like, wow, you are the first person in 1,000 years to open this vault. You are a legend, and there'd be like 3 other people just jumping around in the background who've also just opened it. Yeah.
And the thing that I like a bit is like, yes, there is a bit of that in World of Warcraft, but now, like the cutscenes that say, "Hell, hey, you are the Archdruid." Well, it's instanced for me, so only I can see. Oh, I am the Archdruid. I'm the only one who can see this group of NPCs who I know quite well coming along saying, "Oh, hey, you've done really, really fucking well. We will actually follow you through the entirety of this quest because you are just one of the best in the world." It's the trouble about it.
Finally getting the recognition you deserve.
Oh, well, you know what? It is. It feels like that a little bit because it's like, I've been playing this for fucking ever. Like, it's really the only problem I have with it is it doesn't really do anything for new people. So obviously, when you buy the game, you can buy the expansion as well, and it gives you an instant level up to 100, which is really cool.
Yeah.
And they put in a training mission, but so much of the stuff is story driven and character driven. It's rough to get into. So I'll tell you, like, the first thing that happens is like if you're in the Alliance, which is what I am because fuck the Horde. You know who you are, people. We all made a choice when we started this game. We're going to have tusks, fine. Keep them away from me. One of the things is you go and assault the Broken Shore, which is where the Burning Crusade is coming from, or Burning Legion is coming from. And it's like, oh, you're following King Varian Rin, and da-da-da. But if you're started that, you have no idea who that is. Like, you don't know his story, you don't know where he's come from. I mean, this is a character who wasn't there in the original, and he had this big storyline about how he'd been... I'm going to spoil it because you can find out this stuff easy enough. He was taken by an evil dragon. He was split in half with one personality, one body, and the other personality the other. And like the meek personality was put on the throne, and the strong personality was like, I think he was a gladiator. He was like drowned or something, like lost at sea, and he became a gladiator and something on those lines. But he came back, and then he became a real person again. You had to kill that dragon. Oh, it was just nuts. And you just don't know a lot of these things. Like turning up, it must be rough to be a level 100. But then the alternative is starting from level 1, which it's not difficult to do. Like leveling at this point is really quite nice and quite easy.
Really? What makes it so easy?
Well, they've tinkered with experience, so you rocket up levels. You don't have to do all the quests. The quests have been revamped with Cataclysm, so it's not as much of a pain in the dick to level up. Like things are interesting, unlike in the original WoW, where it was like, hey, collect like 10 wolf meat, and the drop rate is like 0.5. So it's like every other wolf you kill gives you 1 meat, and that like takes up 10 minutes. Like, oh hey, you've got like half a bar of experience now, level 1.5, and it's kind of a bit like that. But now there are sort of instant things where you are flying around in a blimp and dropping bombs on things. And that's quite well. It's just different. It's different, and that's the main thing. It's what keeps it interesting. And there is a reason that World of Warcraft still, if you compare it to any other RPG, compared to unlike, I don't know, you can't really compare Final Fantasy 14, the new revamped version of it. It's a different thing entirely. Yeah, and that's also very good. We should play that at some point. I think it's free to play.
All right.
But then you should also get into World of Warcraft. So I'm not my own. Download it now.
I think I have it somewhere on my computer. Like I said, I tried it at one point. I'd like to do a video of technically my second experience, but because the my friend Nick and I, we thought we're finally going to get into World of Warcraft, and this was 5 years ago, something like that. And we both downloaded it. We both played. I chose to be a human knight paladin person, a guy with a sword.
Paladin is the class, yes. Guy with a sword, yeah.
Guy with a sword. And I think he was some kind of orc, and we didn't realise that. Oh, no, maybe no. I think he was a dark elf or something like an elf, something. Yeah. I don't know. Basically, the point is that
start in the same place.
Exactly, yeah. So we're both wandering around our home hub worlds, trying to work out where each other is or isn't. And then we realised, oh crap, okay, right. And then we thought. Then I kind of continued playing for like 10 minutes, and I just got completely lost, had no idea where to go, what to do, and I thought, well, I'm done with this now, and I've not been back since. So I would kind of like to go back and just kind of give it a fair attempt, just to see.
I mean, I'm always happy to come back to the starting areas. I'll make a new character. Like, I don't care. Like, I've got so many of them. And yeah, it'd be cool. I mean, you can be any kind of race you want and any kind of thing. I mean, like I've pretty much exclusively played Alliance, which is the humans and the dwarves and the gnomes and stuff, mainly because I just prefer the character models, to be honest.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's still fun. It's still fun for me. It's still that compulsive. They nailed it with, the amount of loot you get, with the drive to go through it. If you wanna, the thing is, if you want to invest time in it, you can do. If you can invest a bit of money in it and get like level ups if you really want to. And it would be nice to go back and see. I mean, because I started new characters with my group of friends, and they were just like, "Yeah, we'll carry on." And then I said, "Well, really, you want to get out of vanilla? You want to get into Burning Crusade?" And then once you get to level 60, you're out of the main world, and you go to like sectioned off areas. And then you go to the Burning Crusade expansion, which is this whole. From the lore, it's a planet that's been destroyed. But then you go through to Ice Crown, and then you go to Pandaria. Is that next? Or was it Cataclysm next? I can't remember. One of them. But yeah, there's lots of different sort of areas that you can go through and that are built for that specific 10 levels. So all new quests, all new story, and that's when it gets really interesting.
Okay, it does actually sound quite good going to the different. I mean, that's why I like Destiny, because even though it was kind of very shallow, it was still kind of good, because you did the Earth, you did Russia, and then went to the moon. Then you go to like Mars, then Venus, and you're always kind of hopping just between the planets, and kind of kept it quite interesting.
I'd happily go through it with you, but that's what I've been playing a lot of recently. Like I say, I recently wrapped up The Witcher 3, which we're going to have a longer talk about at a later date, because we've both got feelings about it, and they're not terrible feelings. I think we're both in agreement, but it requires more than a single podcast. So we'll probably be doing a spoiler cast on it, or whatever we're going to call it, where we'll actually talk in depth about the story and.
Yeah, just kind of a nice discussion about kind of what we thought. I mean, I checked my clock, and I think I was about 170 hours when I finally wrapped.
Wow. That's impressive.
Yeah.
I finished it, and I'm still considering starting a New Game Plus.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just because it was like, I've got things I could do. But no, I probably won't. I've got so much more to play. Stuff I just don't pay any attention to.
Yeah.
I still haven't even, like, after the first week of playing, I haven't really picked up No Man's Sky since. I mean, like, I don't know. That was a game. Should we talk about No Man's Sky for a bit? I don't know.
Yeah, let's do a quick chat on No Man's Sky.
People have bounced around opinions of that, and yes, a lot of the stuff is. People are very angry. For some reason, people are really angry.
It seems to be like the internet's a new hate pinata, and they're just bashing it. It just even the subreddit got closed down the other day.
Well, it's one of the most refunded games in Steam history, isn't it? I think
possibly something like
that came out. And the thing is, like, I understand where they're coming from, because a lot of stuff was promised about this game, and a lot of it could be down to hype, sure, but then there were actual sentences that... what's the guy's name? I can never remember.
It's Sean Murray.
That's it, Sean Murray. That actually actively came out and said, it's going to have this. And it just turned out to be not true. And whether or not that's, he was just, pulling a Molyneux, as it has become known in my circles, it still makes him look kind of dicky. And the trouble is with No Man's Sky, I've said it time and time again, it's a really shallow pool. Like, it's huge, but there's very little depth there. It's like, you take a look at the systems, you're like, it's just not a good set of systems. Like, it's not a very good shooter, despite the fact it's got shooter mechanics. It's not a very good exploring game, despite the fact that it's exploration. There's barely any trading involved. I know it's meant to feel empty, and he's come out and said, it's not a game for everyone. It's a game to just sit down and chill out with. But really, a lot of people are just bored. Like there are games I'd go back to sit down and chill out with. So Journey is one.
Yeah.
Which is a game I play over and over again. Mini Ninjas, which I owned for years. And maintained
it's so weird you said, like, for some reason today I was thinking about Mini Ninjas.
Mini Ninjas is an amazing game. Wildly underrated.
Great! It was amazing.
But that's a game that was really chilled out, but there was stuff to do, and that's the problem. It's like, yes, you can sit there and it's like you look at Minecraft, where it's like there's no goal. There is now, but there wasn't really originally. But
Yeah.
like, it gave you a set of tools and something that was addictive. It was a construction tool. Whereas the problem I find with No Man's Sky is that, yes, hype causes issue, but really the game there's nothing there. Like, past the first dip into it, it's like, hey, this is how this game works. You're going to be doing this for 60 hours. Go.
If that, I mean, you make a good. I don't want this podcast to turn into just a list of videos that we are promising to do, but I have started writing the script for this. But the problem that I should do the disclosure thing, shouldn't I? Yes, I worked on No Man's Sky for a bit.
Yeah, you really should.
Own opinions. Cool. So
I don't have to do that because I don't work for a company, a video game company.
So yeah, the problem is it's kind of set itself up as like a discovery game, but the procedural pool that it's pulling from is so shallow that you're discovering the same things within a very short space of time. So all the animals look the same, all the planets look the same, every outpost is the same, and just there's no difference in what you're finding. So the repetition it's more prominent because you see it so. I mean, if maybe every 7th planet had something very similar on it, you'd kind of forgive that because you have those planets in between. But because it's literally every planet has the same structures on it, it has the same, basically the same creatures on it. It has the same, like, every planet has just like shards of plutonium coming up. Like, I was kind of expecting that. I mean, I understand why they did it from a design point of view in terms of like learnability. So that you always get zinc from a plant that looks like that, and you always get silicon from a plant that looks like that, and plutonium's always red spikes. But it makes it feel like literally every planet is the same, rather than having some kind of unique differences to how the plants and the animals look and work. Everything is just the same, and it feels like it's almost like more like a multiverse than a universe. Like every planet is just kind of a slightly different version of the one you were on before.
Yeah, and I don't know. It's you can see the procedural generation in it, and that's what winds me up. They made this whole big deal. It's like, oh, you'll never see the same thing, blah, blah, blah. But what you'll see is a slightly different shaded version of the same thing, constantly, every single time. Like, it's like, oh, hey, this planet has no animals, but look at all these plants. Well, all these plants I've seen have been here before. They've been here for ages. And, it's just... it's a shame, because I was really excited about it, and it's a game I'm happy I own, because I'm happy I own this piece of... Essentially, it's a piece of history, because the mechanics of it, it's really good. But other than that, it's kind of like, eh...
Yeah, it's like, I had a really good time on the first planet when it was all kind of, I mean, disregarding the fact that I played it before, but I had a really good time on the first planet because everything was new and exciting, but then, like, after maybe, I think we spent like 6 hours on the starting planet, and then you kind of go to the next planet, and it's just kind of, again, a bit more of the same, and then you kind of explore the next system, and it's just more of the same, and then, yeah, just the longer I played the game, the less interested I became, and I've got to the point now where I'm just I jump to the next system just in order to get to my goal. I'm just following the Atlas path constantly. I don't even care about renaming stuff. I don't care about like before. I was like, very religiously visiting every planet and trying to catalog as many creatures as I could, and then it is very much a it's been there, done that kind of game. It's just you kind of eventually just want to move on and kind of do something more interesting.
And I mean, that's the thing. Like you say, good time on the first planet. Okay, time on the second planet. Third planet, I was like, okay. Fourth planet, I was like, oh my god. And I found like the list to like the way to the Atlas station. I was like, okay, I'll get to that Atlas station. Great. And then from there, I was just like, well, where do I have to go next? And I looked at the map. I was like, oh, for fuck's like, genuinely, I was just like, for fuck's sake, I'm not going to go that far.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know, it just feels, like, I think I'd rather them have created almost like a very unique solar system, and then you just experience that one solar system, and then maybe everyone has a slightly different solar system, but it's your solar system.
Yeah.
That maybe, I don't know, that's just a personal preference thing, but... Cool. So something. Let's pick this up. Let's go to a happier note now. Happier note. I've just started playing Tomb Raider because it's finally come out on PlayStation.
Wow.
It's year of exclusivity to Xbox One.
And
I'd completely forgotten that it was coming out on PlayStation until I saw it in the store yesterday. So, no, it's really good. It started off very, very similar to the last Tomb Raider, the one that came out a couple of years ago. It's kind of that kind of big kind of set piecey opening, and now I'm kind of in a small wooded area, and I'm shooting deers with arrows, and
so it's like the original Tomb Raider, but the original Tomb Raider.
This is the way you have to get really annoyed because they keep rebooting games. Tomb Raider 2013.
Well, whatever it's called. You know what I mean.
Yes.
Like
the last Crystal Dynamics Tomb Raider. Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, it's kind of started out very much the same, but it's just good. I'm really enjoying it. I'm only maybe about 2 hours into the game so far, but yeah, I'd forgotten how nice it is to play a game where you can find items in the world that then show you where the collectibles are.
Wow.
So I've been kind of growing tired of constantly having to use like guides to kind of find all the collectibles, because I don't often have the luxury of being able to kind of sit through a game a second time, especially if it's a 30-40 hour experience.
Yeah.
And I obviously want to try and get all the collectibles, because, you know, half the time they give you XP or they unlock something cool, or they just get you a trophy, and trophies are nice. But you just
tell
find
the difference in our opinion, considering you've got like 97% of your trophies and I've got like 12. It's like, I don't care anymore.
There are some games where I just kind of think, I played through Black Ops 3 recently, and I just kind of thought, I'll get all the campaign ones and I'll get the collectibles. I'm not touching multiplayer. Just can't do that. So I have I think 31% of the trophies. Of like everything total. So it's like a bit disappointed with that very low score, but it's like, yeah, I don't care. But no, yeah, so I'd forgotten how nice it is to just kind of not have to sit with like YouTube open on my tablet or my laptop next to me, kind of trying to see where the next one is. And I in a way, because I did that with Uncharted 4, that was the last kind of story game that I kind of really cared about that I did it for, and it to an extent kind of ruined playing through the game a little bit, and I kind of wished I hadn't done it for a kind of very big narrative experience. Like Uncharted, and it's nice to just kind of with Tomb Raider just kind of be in the game and wander around and try and find things myself, and then find the map eventually kind of after 20 minutes of fully exploring the environment, rather than just kind of literally knowing exactly which bush to look behind to find the shiny. Now I can just kind of, and it's kind of opened that sense of discovery up again, and I've missed that. I mean, I've just on a slightly related note, played through Virginia a second time this morning to do the collectibles run.
A second time? Is it worth playing a second time?
Well,
other than just collectibles.
Well, there is a trophy for actually just playing it a second time. I think I think the design team really want you to kind of, I think their intention was you play through it once to do just a story run, and then to extra incentivize doing a second playthrough, there is a trophy for playing through it a second time. But I mean, in terms of narrative, it's good to kind of go back and kind of pick up on the stuff that you missed, or because the thing about Virginia, that potentially a spoiler, because I didn't know about this until I heard it on a podcast, but there's no spoken dialogue in the game at all. It's all just it's all kind of visuals and diegetic sounds, and obviously people emoting. And you kind of there's like text to read on the screen, so you'll see newspapers or flyers and stuff like that, and there's kind of story encased in that. So yeah, I'd say it's kind of worth playing through a second time, because there is some stuff that makes more sense the second time you see it, and the endings definitely kind of could be interpreted a couple of ways, not in the same kind of way that Inside can be interpreted, but there's definitely, I think, maybe 2 or 3 ways you could take the ending, and kind of think playing through it the second time, I think definitely made me lean towards one interpretation more than the other one, but yeah, I mean, I kind of sat through this morning playing Virginia a second time and kind of going through hunting the collectibles, and I think if I'd done that on the first run, especially with it being a narrative game, would have absolutely ruined it. And so I think just being able to do the kind of having the, cause I remember in I think it was Assassin's Creed 2 that had it where you collected 50 of the feathers. It then just went, all right, here's the other 50, they're on the map.
Yeah.
I think that was also a nice way of kind of doing the collectibles as well. Just kind of
you're looking for collectibles? Here you go.
Yeah, it kind of rewards you for finding some of the collectibles, and I think far too frequently in games now the collectibles are just there to get you a trophy for finding all of them and pad out the game. And I don't know, I'm getting increasingly frustrated by the fact that because obviously I want to see as much of the content as I can on a single playthrough, or as within as many or as few playthroughs as possible. And there's nothing more frustrating than kind of missing a couple of collectibles and thinking you have to play through the entire thing again because they're only saved to a playthrough rather than a profile. But it's just nice to be able to kind of wander around and kind of find collectibles that mean stuff within the story. And in Tomb Raider, they get you XP, and then you spend that XP on your skill points that make you better. So it kind of all folds in on itself, and it's kind of a nice... Yeah, I'm really enjoying it so far. I've just had to fight a bear, and that was a tough fight.
Well, I'd hope so. I mean, if I tried to fight a bear, I mean, geez, I'd be dead in 30 seconds. So, hey, bear! And then I'm dead. It's just that's the sound of a bear crushing me.
I thought you said you could take most animals in a fist fight.
I could take any animal in a fist fight. So I didn't say I'd win.
But you definitely stand your ground.
Yeah. That was weird. Right, moving on to game stuff very briefly.
Yeah.
I tell you what we've both kind of been watching recently, and that's Luke Cage, which is the next installment in the Netflix Marvel TV universe thing that's kind of linked to the films, or at least recognises them.
I think that's probably the best way to put it.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird, like its own contained system, and it's dealing with sort of not B-list characters, but less sort of famous characters. So we've had Daredevil, which is I maintain the fight scene in Daredevil season 1, episode 3 is the best.
You mean the corridor fight scene?
Yeah, everyone who's watched it knows the corridor fight scene where he just looks tired. It's at the end of it where he's just like, oh man, like, and as someone who did reenactment for a long time, fighting for 30 seconds is hard. Like fighting for a long time, you're not really built for that unless you really really train. But yeah, then so Daredevil and Jessica Jones, which was I'll say that again, better, Jessica Jones, which was sort of an interesting take on. It had dealt a lot with abuse and some themes that were... I think it dealt with it quite well, personally.
Yeah.
And sort of mental health around that. And
I was quite surprised at how kind of deep and dark it got around those kind of issues of like spousal abuse almost.
And it's the kind of thing that's like, yeah, you look at it and you could make fun of it, but you could also bring to light certain things. And that's quite nice, especially with... an enemy who has the power to make you do anything. What would that do to a person? How would you... You're aware of what you're doing, and you're not happy about it, but you can't fight it, and that's the interesting thing. And dealing with things, stuff like PTSD, and anyway, it has some masterful casting in it as well. Luke Cage, which as he turned up in Jessica Jones, and for those of you who aren't aware, Luke Cage is. He's very much his original character in the comics is very much a sign of the times. Like, he was a black guy in the 70s, and it was very blaxploitation cinema or things like that, which is... It's not cool. Like, we just go out on the record and say, that's not cool. Like, if it's made, and it's made aware of the fact... So, like, there's a film, Black Dynamite, which apes blaxploitation cinema so well. And it's comedy, but it is just... You're aware it's taking the piss. But in this, it's nice to see a character as Luke Cage, which was a very throwaway sort of black stereotype guy, to be given this new lease on a very quiet, very thoughtful hero, and it's a nice role model to have, actually. Yeah. And I say this as a white man, obviously I don't have any concept of what it's like, but you look at TV and you see a lot of the most prominent black artists tend to be either very bombastic or cocky or just downright, abusive or whatever to the opposite sex or whatever. But I can't remember the actor's name.
It's Mike Coulter.
He's really good. Genuinely and surprisingly menacing, which I like as well. Not meant to be, but he just has that way about him.
It's his physical presence. He kind of dominates the room.
Yeah, and he plays this sort of respectful. He's a good guy. Like that's primarily what Luke Cage is. He's a good guy. He's capable.
I love the fact that they reinforce the swear jar in the first few episodes.
Well, that's the thing. Like, he doesn't swear. He doesn't drink coffee. He's just a guy. And I read an interview with the actor about how because Luke Cage's catchphrase is "Sweet Christmas," which is such a. It's almost like it's a sign of that blaxploitation era, really. And he's made it. It's just like this guy. Like he doesn't swear. So what's he going to do? It's just like, well, it kind of makes sense in a way. But I'm really liking. I've got one episode left to watch, and they just revealed like the second half of the season. The big bad's got his super weapon. I just looked at it and went, "Oh man, like why? Why have we gone down this route?" But other than that, I've really enjoyed it. I like. Again, Netflix do this all the time. The casting is incredible.
Yeah, I think it generally is for pretty much every Marvel property. I mean, I've only seen like 6 episodes of Series 1 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and 1 episode of Agent Carter, but in terms of like the Netflix stuff and the movies, they're just spot on with their heroes and to a lesser extent the villains. And it's just the casting in general has just been so solid for Marvel. You think, like I remember when they announced Kristen Ritter was going to be Jessica Jones, and my only exposure to her had been through through Breaking Bad, and I was just like, she can't be Jessica Jones. And you watch her, and she's fucking awesome.
Really good.
Yeah.
And I find it interesting that they've taken these characters who are super strong, and it's showing, especially with Luke Cage. Like I was talking to my wife about this, about the way he in his fight scenes, he doesn't look like he's fighting. And the thing is like, and then it clicked in my head, is like, well, he couldn't, because if he actually threw a punch, he would kill someone. Yeah. So like one point he just flips a guy, or just backhands him, and he goes across the room, and it's like, that's probably the only way he could do that without killing people, you know. Because
that did actually cross my mind, but I didn't actually think of it from that respect, because I kind of, the way I thought he fought was almost like a bear lazily swatting at things. He never kind of put any force into it, but it does make complete sense.
He has to be gentle.
I'm a bit disappointed there's because in the first episode where the guy punches his face and his hand shatters. Yeah. Kind of disappointed there wasn't kind of more of that, because it just kind of seemed that I think any other times there was kind of someone had a punch at him or something like that. It never had like the same effect. Yeah. But I think they kind of made a point of saying that the henchman who punched him was kind of famous for beating people up, so I guess he kind of threw more force into it. But it was still just an awesome scene to just see him stand there and have, this guy's bones are breaking around him.
And to see, I have to give props to Theo Rossi, who plays Shades, who is a guy, he's much like the guy who plays Scarf. Frank Whaley? Is that the guy?
Possibly.
But, like, people you recognise from things. So Theo Rossi, he was in Sons of Anarchy. But he plays a very menacing Shades. Like, that's a really... Yeah. He does it really well. And again, I was talking to my wife about it because we watched it together, and just describing what he is. And she's like, oh, he's going to do this. Like, no, he's not. He's a manipulator. Like, he's just like, he's in it for himself and he knows what he's doing.
Yeah. I mean, by the end of it, like, I think Shades probably came out as one of my favourite characters of that. Like, obviously discounting Luke, but I mean, Shades was just, I think, possibly one of my favourite characters of the entire series.
Yeah. And what's her name? Alfred Woodard?
Alfred Woodard.
Yeah. Who I've seen routinely playing good guys, and to see her just seeing her break across the series and just drift into that evil, and it's like, it's always been there. And it's like, every time she's just looking at that photo of a is it a mum? I think it is.
Was it her aunt? Can't remember how she... I always got confused about how that family was all related. But yeah, Ma, whatever it was. Yeah. Ma Dillard, whatever she was called.
Whatever. Either way.
Yeah.
But yeah, just it's been really good, really, really good, and I'm kind of annoyed that it's going to end. I don't know how it's going to end, because they've just got one episode to say, hey, wrap everything up.
Yeah, I'm kind of interested as well, because this is obviously going to skirt around as many spoilers as I can, and maybe we'll do a spoiler cast at some point.
I'm fairly sure I spoiled a lot of it in this last conversation, so I'm sorry about that.
Well, it's been out for a little while now, I guess. Anyway, but yeah, it's weird because the way it ends feels more like it wants to roll straight into Luke Cage Series 2, but before then, the Defenders is going to happen. So it's like,
yeah.
I think that was probably the one thing I really didn't like about the end is the fact that because I knew, we're not going to see Luke Cage 2 next. But it's like it feels like the stuff that it wants to bring back and kind of bring back into the fold and tie up or kind of look at again is probably going to have to be glossed over quite a lot and quite quickly to get the Defenders up and running.
When's that supposed to be coming out, actually?
Iron Fist is early next year, so Defenders summer to autumn next year. Because they've just announced
Iron Fist.
Yeah, Iron Fist is March next year.
That's either going to be really good or terrible, and I don't know which one it's going to be.
Well, they've all been good so far, so...
I know, yeah, but it's... I know you could say this about Luke Cage, but Iron Fist really... I don't know. It's...
He's a character who gets one really good punch a day, and then he has to let his chi refresh, and then he does it again.
Yeah. And it's just like, he's the billionaire Buddhist monk and martial arts expert. It's like, come on. How is it gonna... I tell you what I do love about the set of the Marvel stuff across Netflix is Rosario Dawson, and how she just rolls in as a nurse. Just constantly, as night nurse. And it's a nice continuation. The fact that in Luke Cage, this is a minor spoiler, where she's just like, I've lost my job, what can I do? And she's like, well, you could help these superheroes. She's like, yeah, I might do that. And I think that's clearly what's going to happen.
Yeah. I mean, I think from the get-go, it's kind of obvious that's where her character was going to go.
Well, I thought it was like, she'd just be like in the hospital and she just treated them, but not actually, just wandering around meeting them all.
Well, I'm wondering, because I'm assuming that maybe Luke Cage 2, Series 2, and Iron Fist Series 2 maybe Heroes for Hire Series 1. I'd like it to be.
Yeah,
so I'm wondering if maybe in the back of the office will be the first aid station, and Rosario Dawson will be there kind of treating them every day.
So what are you guys doing? So yeah, go watch Luke Cage. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Alright, so thank you very much for listening to the inaugural, I guess, episode of Mostly Playing.
It sounds weird saying this, the inaugural one.
The first ever episode? I don't know. Anyway, hopefully, I think every 2 weeks we were going to aim to try and get our podcast out.
Yeah.
Time permitting, we'll see. But we'll try and keep it semi-regular the best we can. Hopefully we'll put some more content on the blog before too long. It's gone a bit neglected recently because I've been moving house. And Stef's been busy at work, and now that I'm settled, hopefully there'll be some more content, some more videos, and some more written stuff before too long, which would be quite nice.
God, yeah, I've got so much writing to do. Like, it all just got put on hold.
Yeah.
But yes, we will hopefully be updating. Every 2 weeks with the podcast, hopefully, and hopefully at least once a week with some content.
Yeah,
that was the aim. Either from me or from Mark. It really depends on what's going on and what we can come up with. But yeah.
And as you've heard from this episode, there's like 3,000 or 4,000 videos we want to make as well. So watch out for those in the near future, I guess.
Yes, and thank you very much for listening, and we will see you next time.
Yeah, until next time.
Sweet Christmas.
Sweet Christmas.